You guys really know how to kick off a semester right. On screen, you can kind of see some haphazard alignment and arrangement of the different tutorials that you all sought out for last week's discussion. And I have to say, we have some pretty diverse interests, both personal and professional, that contributed to a very wonderful conversation. On screen, you also see kind of the top 4 wrap-up or takeaway messages from last week's discussion. So I want to hit on these one by one and explore a little bit about how these came up in conversation and extend that conversation just a little bit. So first of all, the value of perspective and experience. A number of you have talked about how you already have some familiarity with some of the tools that we'll be using this semester, or you have a professional familiarity that's in a related area. And that lends a different perspective and experience to the conversation. And I love how you're already beginning to use that to your benefit and take advantage of the perspective and experience of classmates as you look at what goes into making a good video and a good tutorial specifically as we think about multimedia for instructional purposes. Along with that, kind of extending that, some conversations popped up about the setting of videos and whether it was one of the basketball tutorials that had a game going on in the background or one of the other tutorials, I believe the bow tie tutorial, talked about being placed in the high-end shop versus doing it in somebody's bedroom or in front of a bathroom mirror. How does the setting of a video change your perception and perspective of professionalism? And are there any distractors that take away from the video? It was perhaps made in a jestful or joking manner, but talking about the fingernails of one of the women in an instructional video. That's a distractor, and we have to keep that in mind. So, for example, right now, some of you know that I am a very colorful individual when it comes to certain things, and my nail polish is no exception. So I use temperature-changing nail polish that changes between pink and kind of a sparkly white. And then alternating, I have another color that is purple that changes to blue when my hands are warm. If you're really curious, I'll give you a video demonstration of the color changing. But that's all to say, if I were to create a tutorial with my hands, the colors of my fingernails could be distracting and take away from the professional nature that I want my video to be. Now, if I don't care about that, then I don't have to pay attention to that. But these are all things that we think about as designers depending on our setting. How many times have you gone to look for a tutorial on how to do something, especially when it comes to software, it seems, and you get a 14-year-old boy or girl in their bedroom, and there's not a very decent prep that went into their video. Lots of ums and ahs, there's no script, and you see interesting things on the wall when they include a video of themselves. So how does that affect how we see the video itself and the tutorial? Does it take away from what we're trying to get from it? Number 3, knowing your audience. There was a great comment about colorblind and what happens in certain tutorials when you are dealing with colorblind users. Something that I need to get better about is making sure that all of my videos are ADA compliant in terms of scripts and captioning. And I'm trying to make a concerted effort this semester on doing that. So if you notice that I haven't done my part, please feel free to send me a message and say, hey, Dr. D, you said you were working on ADA compliance. Because I know that we do have some disabled learners, and these videos aren't closed, they're not private. So other students may benefit sometimes from these overviews, and I want to make sure that they can access these materials. So knowing your audience and any adjustments you might need to make in your videos as you move forward to accommodate any learning disabilities or just general perceptions of your audience. Last but not least, when is it okay to break the rules? Well, guess what? You can always break the rules. You don't have to color inside the lines if you don't want to. But a lot of the principles we're going to be talking about are based in research and for effective or maximizing impact. That's why we talk about these rules. So you don't have to follow every rule every time or all of the rules all of the time. You can just follow some of the rules some of the time and see how it works. And this is where Gestalt comes together, and you're taking a look at the parts versus the whole. And you have to decide when you can break a rule. So the answer is you can. The longer answer is, well, you've already got that part, so we're not going to repeat it. So with that, let's take a look at the Twitter expectation for your participation in this class. Use the on-screen navigation to access another section of this week's overview.
Cold paints the sky just after sunrise.